In this episode, we bring back the Rat Rod Radio Flyer. Welcome to the channel, I'm Grant Tommy, this is Straight Six Fan, your home for offbeat hot rodding, and well, you know, with Project Low Fairmont gone officially from the channel, we need some other projects for content, so what better one than to go back to my roots with the Rat Rod Radio Flyer. Let me bring you in closer and show you what we need to work on. Well, it's been since July 28th of 2019 since the last time I put content up on my Rat Rod Radio Flyer Go-kart project. And well, since the last times it was out, biggest issues it has, we've got some steering issues, and we'll get into that in further detail here in a little bit. But it also likes to, well, taking over my motor here, vapor lock. Even though I have this header wrapped, it heats up the gas in the gas tank and basically stalls it out. So those are the primary issues I want to take care of here in, we'll call it, I don't know, 3.0 of this project. But there's some additional aesthetic things I want to do as well as performance. So let me show you that real quick. One of the primary reasons why I have a steering issue is, well, it's just got poor construction for one. But the other thing is, you know, as opposed to a traditional go-kart where you'd be sitting kind of mid-frame, this thing likes to understeer because there's not enough weight over the front. So when we fix the gas tank, I want to move the gas tank up front, and once we're done with the steering, I want to kind of protect this pitman arm that comes out the middle. So the way we're going to do that is with, I bought this Bolin's like a lawnmower grill, and so, you know, I think we have the opportunity to kind of like tilt it back, make it look like a speedster, or, you know, just a number of different options, and then try to mount like almost like a moon tank of sorts up here, kind of look like a radiator, but it will be the gas tank. So we'll put some extra weight out over the top of the front axle, and that should help us as well. The other aesthetic piece is, well, I bought these. Basically, they're Harley gas caps, fuel tank gas caps. Yeah, I'm saying that right. And I'd always thought about using these for hubcaps for my tires or wheel and tire package. And actually, the last time out, we had an issue with the wheels coming off, so we had to double nut them. So I think what I'm going to do is cut one of these nuts down in half, and then TIG weld it to the backside of those gas caps, and there'll be a nice little hubcap, I think. Lastly, performance. So I have in my hand here a billet connecting rod, and the point of this is to be able to take the governor off the 5-horse Briggs and Stratton and not have to worry about the extra RPMs we're spinning. That you know, less drag, less weight, stronger rod, all the above. We don't throw a rod, but there are the plans. That's what I want to get done here in 3.0, but for right now, it's time to get started on the steering, and it's time to start taking some of the stuff apart. All right, up close, there are just a number of issues going on with steering here. For starters, I think because, again, the beginner welding skills, when I welded the frame, I don't think it's quite square, so when you set it on the concrete, it would like sort of rack or tilt, you know, it would do that number. And when I initially welded my spindles for the front, like, I have a feeling that they're at different heights. So when we're in steering activities, it would turn like to one direction better than the other. So that's problem number one. Problem number two, these trailing arms, whatever you want to call these, it's kind of a byproduct to the spindles. Like just the amount of material that was able to pop up through varied. So we're going to need to lengthen basically the material of the spindle so we can get those in the right spot. But also on the primary steering arm. So this is where, you know, we get from the steering wheel, our little pitman arm, to here. Just didn't have. You can see this thing's bent up. Didn't have thick enough material, so we need to redo this all together. And then lastly, what would happen sometimes, because my steering shaft that comes all the way under where my motor's mounted doesn't have like a positive kind of like collar or anything to hold it in place. When you turn full lock, sometimes we would just we would roll over like that, and that does no good. That would just really screw up the whole steering activity. So you can see it's got a little play in it. The tires don't move at all, but of course our steering wheel is moving. So we're going to try to lock that down as well. Okay, so as suspected, we do have different heights. I measured off the ground to the underside of the spindle because I thought it's a little too hard to eyeball the center line and be precise. So we had 3 3/16 to the spindle off the ground, and then right at 3 inches over here. So we are going to grind these off, and we will reset these at a more consistent height or something that's a little easier to adjust than what we have, and we will go from there. Spindles are cut loose, but I think the thing I'm going to work on first, the lower hanging fruit, and kind of just due to time, is to revise this. Now this was definitely some work done in haste and with some crappy welding skills. But that's what this project was supposed to be about. It's supposed to give me something to work on so I could improve my welding skills, and that's crappy. But we're going to try to sleeve this somehow much better than it is, so that way we can get rid of this slop, which was causing us issues. Well, looking around the shop, I don't have anything that's the right diameter to sleeve this, so we'll go to the local farm and home store to find that. But we'll start just picking up for today, and pick it up from here later. Yeah, yesterday I went to the farm and home store, got some 3/4 inch tube, and it's got really close to 5/8 inch inside diameter, and that's all right anyway that it's off a little bit, because I don't want to yank off the pitman arm on the on this shaft because of, well, I won't get into that. So I'm gonna cut down, about yay much of this, and then we'll cut it in, basically leave like 5/8 of the material and sleeve it on from the top. We're gonna see if that works, and see if there's enough material in here I can weld to. But that's the plan, so let's get going. Well, the fitment's pretty good right around the shaft, but the previous notch that I cut is a little wider than I'd want. And then also you can see the steering shaft kind of runs uphill, so I'm going to want to do more like that. Totally different day here. This is Thursday. I do have the day off today. Thursday before my upload, so almost a week before this goes up. But we're actually going to build up the material here before we put that hoop in that I've been fabricating with the grease zerk, this guy, because that's what needs to happen to kind of keep this shaft parallel with the frame. So anyway, we're going to burn these in and then put that hoop in.
Well, I thought I was getting better at welding enough to be able to show my welds on YouTube, but that is not the case. I had hit the struggle bus on some of that, so, but we got the collar in, and it's got the greasable Zerk, so that's awesome. A lot less play-in it than before, so that's awesome. It doesn't move back and forth anymore either because I tack welded on the steering shaft in front of this little hoop, so that way it doesn't slide back and forth like it once did. Anyway, I've got it leveled out side to side here, and I think what's going to happen is, if you see how I made my spindles previously, they don't really come out, but on this side, so I've got the threads, like I've got all thread coverage here on this side. Over here, we're hanging on by maybe 2 threads. Like, so if I flip this over, you'd see there was you could look into that and see a hole. So that's what it takes to get this to sit level. So I think I'm gonna blow the spindles up a little bit. I think I'm just gonna cut them off at the threads. And I bought some 1/2" solid stock, so we'll just extend material top and bottom. I was hoping to only do it on the top, but we're gonna probably go top and bottom. And then that way I can make these spindles as identical as possible. I'll give myself some wiggle room too, but yeah, we'll go from there. And now where we've left it is I went ahead and cut the spindles further out, and I'm gonna rebuild them. So what I'm gonna do is try my best to get these to be the same. And I think what I'm gonna do, well, we'll save that for another episode, actually. I don't need to keep just blabbing on here. So, Rat Rod Radio Flyer steering is starting to get reworked. We'll be leaving this in storage. I gotta get this edited up so you guys can see this. But, hey, if this is your first time, why don't you consider hitting that subscribe button? Otherwise, like, comment, or share. I don't care which one you do, as long as you do one, it really helps the channel out. That's going to do it for this episode. To all my 6 fans out there, thanks for watching.